Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a Nikki Uncut. This Nikki Uncut is going to be great for anyone who is attending a special occasion. So whether you're attending a wedding, whether you're in a wedding, whether you're a bride and you need a little quick, very digestible step-by-step guide on how to do your eye makeup, or if you're going to an evening event, a gala, a charity, a party, whatever it is you're attending this year, special occasion wise, if you're putting on a fancy outfit, a fancy suit, a fancy dress, if you're dressing up and you need a step-by-step digestible way to do your eye makeup specifically. You can see I have my base makeup on, my complexion is on, my lip is on. I plan on linking everything that's on my face because I know you guys are going to ask. So everything will be linked that is on my face right now in the description of this video. But I want to teach you a digestible way to do your makeup, your eye makeup for a special occasion. So sit back, relax. It's going to be pretty minimal products. I try to keep it as minimal as possible. And as minimal brushes as possible too, I should say. So these are going to be the brushes that we'll essentially be using and needing the most. I will teach you how to use the brushes, what they're for, and overall just a really step-by-step easy eye makeup look. So if that sounds like something that you need in your life, then let's get started. Grab your brushes, grab whatever eye makeup brushes you have. If you have these, even better. You're going to be really just following along so easy if you have these brushes in hand. If you don't, grab your brushes, make sure they're clean. That's a big thing, a very important thing. There is one dirty brush that has a little bit of leftover concealer on it, but that's totally fine, and actually this is going to come in handy when we get to that moment. But for now, grab your brushes, make sure they're clean, and then what you're also going to need is a little bit of loose setting powder, a bit of concealer, either a wet formula or a cream formula. I'll teach you. They're pretty much interchangeable. We'll get to that when we get to that. You're going to need some lash glue, some tweezers, some scissors, some lashes. These are the lashes of choice. These are so universally flattering. They're smaller to most lash standards. There's a lot of like really huge over-the-top lash strips out there, and those could be just really cartoony on most people, including myself. The 420 lashes from Ardell are my favorite. I've used these for years. I will always keep these stocked in my makeup kit. They're just beautiful. But I'm going to teach you how to use one single lash, cut in half, and you're going to get 2 half lashes out of one single pair. And it's going to be very easy for you to use. You're going to want to use some kind of eyeshadow primer or base. Now, you see me use all the time on my channel just concealer, but I've gotten a lot of requests lately. So I thought I would scratch that itch, show you how to use a very traditional, really well-loved, really amazing, probably my favorite eyeshadow base that I've ever used. It's the MAC Paint Pot. Specifically, the shade Painterly is going to be good for my complexion. They do make deeper ones, and they do make one that's a little bit lighter as well. But you're going to need an eyeshadow primer if you're not going to go the concealer route. And then you're going to need about 2 different eyeliners. I like to do one for tight lining, specifically one that's not going to run, and then one for smudging out, and one for creating depth and more drama. You're going to want a shimmery shadow and a matte shadow palette. I feel like these are 2 very popular products that I've recommended 1,000 times. So more than likely, you have something that's similar to the Makeup by Mario Master Matte palette. This is the original one, and more than likely you have that palette or you have something similar, like I said. So grab some basically like neutral browns, neutral brown matte eyeshadows, and then you're going to want a topper, some kind of topper, whether it's a glitter, a shimmer. This one is just really easy to use, and it's universally flattering, and it gives your eye makeup that special occasion pop and that vibe. And that's the whole point. So this is Space Cowboy from Urban Decay. So you're going to need these 2 bad boys. And just to call out too, this eye makeup look that I'm going to be teaching you is going to be more leaning towards the warm neutral side. It's not going to be a cool tone eye makeup look. So just a little FYI, if you're watching this and you're planning on doing this exact eye makeup look, but you also plan on wearing a really cool tone outfit, like I'm talking like silver sequins or something like that. Something that is like very pronounced and cool in tone. And then this is not going to be the most, it's color theory wise, it's not going to go with that kind of dress. So it's going to go with more of like black, gold, or champagne accessories. I like to do mixed metal, so if you're like me, you could break some rules. But let's just get into it because I feel like I've been blabbing a lot. You're also going to want to have on hand some pointed Q-tips and some micellar water, some kind of cleaning agent, something that's going to clean up excess makeup, fallout, things of that nature. But we're not going over the top smoky, so we should be okay having our base makeup on to start this eye makeup journey. So first things first, I should probably grab this ahead of time. Grab a mirror if you have one. If you don't, use your eyeshadow palette as your mirror. But I want you to look in the mirror and I want you to see all this residual oil that you have potentially. Either you don't or you do. More than likely you have some kind of oil on your eyelids. This needs to be removed before you get started. If you don't, my friends, it's going to be creasing. Trust me. Take a tissue, take a makeup wipe. Just make sure you wipe off any excess oil that is left with whatever you're using to remove the oil on your eyelid. So if it's a makeup wipe, that usually leaves some kind of oily residue behind. All you want to do is make sure your eyelid is nice and dry. Dry to the touch, no oil, no skincare, no nothing, because that's going to interfere with the wear time of your eye makeup. Now, full disclosure, I have my eyebrows on and I have a little bit of concealer just cleaned up underneath. What I want you to do and what starts every good eye makeup look, whether you're going to a special occasion or just any eye makeup look in general, honestly, this rule will apply. Make sure you do your eyebrows first. These are the framework for which you're going to apply your eyeshadow. This is also going to be the starting and stopping point. So this is the starting point. This is your stopping point. So if you don't have your eyebrows on, you don't have a clear roadmap of where you need to place your eyeshadow, and that is crucial for every good eye makeup look. So get your brows on, get them in check, and then come back and hang out with me and let's do some eye makeup. If you have this brush, this is my N16 brush with BK Beauty. You're going to take this brush. This is like my priming brush for my eyelids. I love this for cream eyeshadows, glitter eyeshadows, whatever it is. You're going to take it, you're going to swipe Painterly Paint Pot or whatever your eyeshadow primer is. You're going to want to use one that's tinted if you're not using a concealer. If you use a clear one, like let's just say like the Urban Decay, I don't even know what it's called, eyeshadow potion thing. That one's clear, and I don't find that the clear ones are as impactful, and they're just not going to give you that clean slate for your eyeshadow to blend on top. So try to pick one that's opaque, that's going to give you some coverage on your eyelid. And if you don't want to do that, just trust me, use a concealer set with powder, and you're good to go. So you want to get this all over. A thin layer is going to do you just fine. You don't need to cake this on. And I like to start in a patty motion like you saw initially when I put this on, and then start to blend it out. Blending it out so it's just seamless into the rest of my makeup. And same thing, you repeat. Tap it in, push it on. Really lock it onto your eyelid. This is very important. And you want to make sure you're covering like the whole area, the whole eye area. So not just like your eyelid. You want to bring it up so it's blended into right below your brow bone. With the edge of the brush where the longer fibers are, just blend it out. You want it to be as seamless as possible, melting into the rest of your makeup. Now don't disturb the rest of your makeup, but make sure it's like softly blended out into the rest of your eye makeup. Once that's on, you're going to immediately want to set this, okay? If you have really oily eyelids like me, set it right away. Set it, and then you can rest assured your eye makeup is not going to crease. For that, I'm going to grab the N14 brush. It's like my dome brush. It's what you see me use to set my under eye concealer. I'm just dipping into my Makeup by Mario powder in the shade Fair Pink. In the shade Fair Pink. Tap off the excess. You don't need a ton of powder for this. And you want to press this on, securing your eye makeup into place. If you didn't do this, even though this is a eyeshadow primer, this Painterly Paint Pot, it's still a cream, and it's not going to be foolproof. It's not going to be budge proof unless you really lock it in and set it with even just a small amount of powder. All right, your eyes should look like this. This is what they should look like to start. No visible veins, no visible redness, no visible discoloration of any kind. So that way when you put your eyeshadows on top, they're going to be fully impactful. They're going to be popping and looking like a pro did it. You're going to be a pro after this video, I'm telling you. Okay, grab your blending brush. This is your N13 brush or whatever blending brush you have that is similar in shape and size. This is going to be where we start this eye makeup journey. Now you want to look for your transitional shades, meaning a shade that's about 2 to 3 shades, I'd say about, 2 to 3 shades darker than your actual complexion. So you wouldn't want to go for the lightest shade, okay? And you wouldn't want to go for something that's, you know, a shade, only a shade lighter than you. You want to go for something that's like in this range, this range, this range, this range, depending on your skin tone. If you're deeper, you're going to go for the deeper tone. So match according to your skin tone, like how the depth of your skin. For me, this is my perfect mid-tone transition shade. And what a transition shade is it's a shade that transitions all the other shades into an eye makeup look. So you need to have a starting point, right? This is like the very beginnings of the eye makeup recipe. You need to lay down like the groundwork. And this is like the groundwork to every good eye makeup look. You have to have a base color / transition color, a color that everything else transitions into and that creates this cohesive, pretty eye makeup look. So I like to start where I want the darkest amount of color to pay off. And that's going to be in the outer corner. So you want to start the eye makeup or the initial application in this inner corner. So right where your top eyelid and your bottom eyelid meet, this is the crease. So wherever you have this socket, find the socket. This is the crease. The socket, the crease. That's where you want to tuck this brush and start to do small, more controlled blending movements. And then once you have the initial amount of color deposited to this area specifically, that's when you could take your brush and start to do a windshield wiper motion back and forth, creating a soft gradient effect where it's the darkest in the outer corner, but then it softly fades into a soft whisper of this color going across the crease. So you wouldn't want to start the initial color payoff here. That'd be too intense and it wouldn't be flattering. You want to start in the outer corner. Generally speaking, this is the most flattering way to wear your eye makeup. Pulling your eyes up and out, making them look a bit more open and a bit bigger. So this video is uncut. You're going to see all the blending that it takes to get a nice cohesive eye makeup look. We're going to start this side now. Same thing. Tuck in the crease, okay? Do some controlled blending. This is my hooded eye, so it's going to look a little different. I also have to go a little bit further up than where my actual crease is to make it match. Now, you'll notice throughout this entire video, I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm not going like this and hoping for the best. This is what you want to avoid. You want to avoid looking down, crouching into your makeup mirror, squinting your eyes, going like this, trying to see. You want to just straighten up, open your eyes, relax as much as possible. Try to keep your eyes as relaxed as possible. This is going to be the truest way to see exactly what you're doing as you're doing it. So there's not going to be any surprises at the end of your blending where you're like, oh, wait a minute, I thought I was blending it here, but it turns out after I open my eyes and I look straight ahead, it's in a completely different spot than I anticipated. This is how you avoid that, by keeping your eyes open, keeping your stance looking as straight ahead as possible. And this is how you create like a flawless eye makeup look. So grab your mirror, make sure you're looking, checking, different angles. Check the side, check straight on. You want to always make sure you're getting perspective as you're doing this kind of makeup look. So if you're just looking really, really close, and I understand like sometimes we can't see, totally get it. So if that's the case and you're looking straight ahead into your mirror, but you're looking really close to be able to see, try to take a step back when you can periodically to see how it's landing and how it's lining up, because you need that perspective, and we lose 90% of our perspective when we're this close up, okay? So put the mirror down when you can and look straight ahead, or at least look like this. Another great thing to point out too is when you're doing your eye makeup on your own and you're doing it for a special occasion, try to do it in natural lighting, especially if that's where you're going to be attending an event. If you're going to be attending a wedding that's outside, in the daylight, try to do your makeup in natural light in the daylight, not in a dark bathroom, not in a bathroom that has overhead lighting where it's like very shadowy and it's really hard to tell what the color is looking like, if it's looking muddy, if it's looking too dark. Try to do your eye makeup, your makeup in general, but your eye makeup so it doesn't turn out too dark in the kind of lighting that you're going to be in. So if it's outside lighting, grab your makeup, sit on the floor, prop a mirror up, something like this. I get this on Amazon, it's like 15 bucks. And try to look into natural light as you're doing your makeup. You'll get the best results every time if you do it that way. If you're at a hotel, especially, oh my gosh, if you're at a hotel, please avoid the bathrooms in the hotels. It is so unreliable and it always ends up looking so different when you get into natural lighting. So park yourself in front of that mirror, or not the mirror, park yourself in front of the window. If you have a window in your hotel room, I'm praying that you do. Sit in front of it, do your makeup there, and you will be golden. You'll be 10 steps ahead. Okay, so I'm just going back and forth. I know I chatted a lot just now, so let's go back to like the details and let's talk about what we have going on. So right now we have a really nice amount of color. It's lifting our eyes up. You'll notice we didn't do anything on the eyelid. We just have that eyeshadow primer and that base. We're just focusing on the crease and then softly blending whatever's left over in that windshield wiper motion towards this part of our nose, okay? So once we have little to no additional color on the brush, that's when you want to start blending that inward in a soft windshield wiper motion. Now, we're not going to overcomplicate this. We're going to make it really simple. Same brush. You're going to now pick a shade that's at least half a shade deeper than what we just used in the crease. So for that example, or in that example, we're going to switch from this one to this one. It's about a half a shade deeper in tone. Same color family, so it's going to look really soft, cohesive. It's going to look like it's meant to be there. They're going to be best friends. And you're just going to slowly and in a lot of control add this color to the very outer corner of your eye. So in that little tight corner, the outer part of the crease where your eyelid and your brow bone, like this socket, meet up, that's where you want to start tucking this darker shade. And we're not going back and forth, and we're not smashing the brush in. You want to make sure you're not going too heavy with the pressure. You never want to see your brush blending like this, okay? This is what you don't want to see. So if your brush is bending, you're applying way too much pressure. Your brush should just sweep lightly back and forth. You should never say go like this. Okay, that's too much pressure. If you're applying too much pressure, you're probably holding the brush too close. Pull it out. The further you have your brush out, the softer the movement's going to be because you actually lose a lot of control and a lot of strength when you're holding it from like the end versus down here. When you're holding it down here, you got a lot of control. You have a lot of like muscle you could put into it, and you can then, of course, use too much pressure. So if you're pulling it back, you lose a lot of the strength. And it kind of forces you to apply a lot less pressure than what you may not even realize you're applying. So just another little built-in tip. I'm going to go back to that same shadow. I'm going to start to build it up. All good eye makeup looks are layered and they're built up slowly. They're not wham, bam, pack a bunch of dark color on all at once and call it a day. That's never going to look flattering. So you want to be patient, take your time. Special occasion eye makeup looks tend to take the longest, because they're the most thoughtful. You're putting the most thought and effort into them. So just blending soft circular motions. Now that I have the amount of color that I want in that area, start to do a little bit of slow, controlled, circular motions. Now with this one, once you have deposited majority of the product and majority of the color, and the color payoff is in that one specific area in the outer corner, which is what we want, where we want to keep it. Once you've done that, you're not going to sweep this one all the way across. Instead, you're just going to sweep this one an extra quarter of the way in. So about to like the pupil is where you want to start and stop. So don't go past the pupil because that'll end up closing your eye shape up and overall it can look a little too intense. So stop it halfway. So pretty. Okay, now, same brush. You're going to now take a deeper shade. So now we're going to flip to this bottom portion of the palette. So if you're working on the Makeup by Mario palette, grab, you could do these too if you're afraid of going too dark and dramatic. This one I use all the time, especially for like buffing out eyeliner. So actually let me mix a little bit of this darker one and a bit of this one. And again, this is all gonna be dependent on your skin tone and how your actual complexion. So if you need to go deeper based on your complexion, go deeper. If you're a light to medium complexion like I am, or a little bit darker or a little bit lighter than me, you can stick to the ranges that I'm sticking to right now. So take a small amount, tap off the excess, and then you're really just gonna lightly tuck this right in the outer corner. You're not even really blending, you're just kind of patting it into place very delicately. Same thing. And we're going outside of where the eye actually is to elongate and to widen my eyes. Just like that. All right, it's time for a perspective check. Grab your mirror, look straight ahead, or into the monitor if you're like me. It's looking good. So now we need to do some eyeliner. I want to focus on some eyeliner, and first things first, I want you to tightline. So grab a skinny, more long-wearing, more like water-resistant kind of pencil. Don't avoid anything that says an eye kohl. An eye kohl is going to run like no one's business, and they're meant to be smudged out, and they're meant to be like worked around and blended out, and they're like pliable, basically. Get something that's specifically designed to be precise for a really small area. So for your eyes to tightline, and what tightlining is applying this in the inner waterline of your lash line. So this part right here, this is where you tightline. So this is a really, really dark brown. This is also from the drugstore. It's one of my favorites. It's the Maybelline Master Precise Skinny Gel Pencil. It's in the shade Sharp Brown. You're going to take this. If you've never done this, you could take your finger, you can gently, I need to pull this closer, you can gently lift your eyelid up and start to draw this basically into your lashes. So lift, gentle pressure, you don't want to disrupt your eyeshadow that you just applied, okay? Make sure your fingers are not greasy. Make sure they don't have any residual lotion or anything like that. That'll break down your eye makeup. So be very careful. Okay, so that's how you tightline. For me, I've been tightlining since I was 18 years old. That was like one of the first things I learned how to do. And I used to watch my mom do it, and she used to do it like this. She would look in the opposite direction of where she's tightlining. So if I'm tightlining my outer corner, I'm looking in the inner corner. If I'm doing the inner corner, I'm looking in the outer corner. I'm always looking away from where the pencil is to give my eyes a break. Okay. Tightlining is complete. Already, even without mascara or even lashes, our lash line looks so much fuller and so much more defined. So I really wanted to show you this before I did any other eyeliner or mascara, so you can see this does make a difference. It does have impact. It may not be like the biggest impact, but all these little things that we do add up to a really pretty eye makeup look that's perfect for a special occasion or just in general. Like, look at how defined my lash line looks, even without mascara or curling my lashes. So now that we've done that, grab your eyeliner pencil of choice. Since this is a nice warm neutral brown, like warm leaning, neutral brown leaning warm eye makeup look, I'm going to opt for a really rich dark brown. This is the Perfect Brown pencil from Makeup by Mario, one of my absolute favorites, and these are really, really easy to work with. So you're going to take the pencil and grab your mirror. Make sure you keep your eyes open, especially if you have hooded eyes. Do not close your eyes the best you can, okay? You want to start in the outer corner, and I like to start where my top and bottom lash line meet. So right in this little inner nook, basically. Start it here, and then you're going to gently start to pull it out a bit more. Okay? Now it doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to blend it out. But keeping your eyes open, and then when you get to a certain point, you can close them gently, of course, just to maneuver the pencil where it needs to go. And then now you'll notice I'm going from here to here. Flip your pencil at an angle so you can very gently and precisely drag this close to your lash line to create a really nice tapered effect with your eyeliner. So if you went in like this and you're like boop, 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 you'll get way too blunt of an application. By flipping it from here to an angle and dragging it, you're going to get a really nice tapered effect with the liner. All right, now I want you to put this pencil down. I want you to close up the cap so it doesn't dry up. Now you're going to want to grab your N12 brush or any smudger brush you might have. I designed this brush to be able to smudge out eyeliner to give it like a really pro, easy look. Pro look in an easy way, I should say. So you're going to take the brush and you're going to start to blend this pencil liner out and smudge it. Now, we already drew the initial line, so it's okay if you're closing your eyes for this part, and it's really difficult to blend an eyeliner with your eyes open. It can be like really intimidating. So feel free to close your eyes and just keep it very precise. Don't blend anywhere you don't have the eyeliner. But what this is going to do is soften that line so it's not so sharp, and it gives it a really pretty, just flattering look. So put the pencil down, put the brush down, excuse me. Again, this video is uncut, so I can't cut out any of my mistakes. I can't even cut out the leaf blower that's outside right now that's ruining my life. There's always a leaf blower every single day I try to film. There's a leaf blower, and it's amazing because like as soon as I hit record, there will be no leaf blower in sight. There'll be no landscapers, no construction workers, no Amazon delivery people. But as soon as I hit that record button, they're like, oh, she's there. She's recording. Call everyone up. Let's make a huge amount of noise. Oh, and better yet, if she's filming an uncut, even better. I have to complain every once in a while because it just feels good to complain. You know, sometimes you just have to get it out. Okay, back to what we're doing. Back to the important part. Same thing. You're going to repeat the same technique on the other side. You're going to start this where the top and bottom lash line meet. And you're going to start to gently extend this out. Flip it. All right, guys, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I need to cut this out, so hang tight. Grab a water. All right, now begins some of the funnest parts, okay? Grab your N11 brush or any angled brush, and you're gonna dip now into the two darkest, and it's up to you. You can either go for the black shadow or the really, really dark brown shadow. I'm gonna go for a bit of both, to be honest. I like to do this because adding a little bit of black, not necessarily with a black eyeliner, but putting this on top of that dark brown eyeliner we placed earlier and smudged out, gives it just this really beautiful, like, just like sexy depth that it's a special occasion eye makeup look is just begging for. So take a small amount, tap off the excess for safe measure. Now what you're going to want to do is place this right in that same inner corner of the eye where the top and bottom lash line meet up. So by applying this there, you're getting this sultry wing effect without any of the difficulty of creating a wing eyeliner. So taking that eye and that little bit of shadow and just pressing it on. You're not smudging it. You're not going back and forth. You're just pressing this right on top. Now, we already created that guideline with the initial eyeliner and the initial eyeshadow and smudging it out. So now we're just going on top and just intensifying the look, but just in the outer corner and just creating a really soft wing effect. This completes the eye makeup look every single time. Same thing, I dipped into both those shadows, the dark brown and the black, and you're gonna just do a soft press Pressing it right where the top and bottom lash line meets. Then I'm just pressing the excess product and shadow just in this outer corner. Keeping it really, really controlled. No blending, just pressing. Think of it as like a stamp. You're just going to stamp this on. For more depth. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is you can either do two things. You can either take a Q-tip and some micellar water and clean up your eyeshadow like that. Now, if you haven't made a really big mess and you just want like very minimal cleanup, I'm going to show you both ways, okay? You need to take the micellar water a little bit on that Q-tip. Make sure it's not dripping, so just wipe off the excess so it's just kind of damp. Look straight into your mirror and lightly clean up the edge. With the dry end, you're going to just softly fade that out. Okay, so now we have that perfectly little clean, precise little baby wing, perfect for any occasion. Or you could go this route. You take your small flat brush, whatever you use to like precisely lay down concealer. This is the Angie Han Flashy A505. You take this with a teeny bit of either a liquid concealer or a cream concealer. I'm just using the NARS Soft Matte Creamy Concealer. And I'm talking a really small amount, but make sure you're flattening your brush. And make sure it's nice and all the bristles are like compact together like that. Because you want it to be sharp, basically. So now you're going to take that, try to rest your pinky where it won't ruin your makeup. And you're going to clean up the edge with that concealer. And if you have any other things, like any bit of fallout, clean it up. But that is your finished wing liner. See how it's beautifully tapered. It's thickest in the outer corner. It's thinnest going all the way across. But we still have a nice line going all the way in because we tight lined previously, which is exactly what you want to do. Now, put the Q-tips away. You don't need them anymore. Grab your beautiful shimmery eyeshadow. This is going to go on prior to your mascara and your lashes because this will be very hard to get on your eyelids when you do this, if you do that first. So take your shimmer. Now you're going to skip the brush. You're just going to use your fingertip. The warmth of your finger is going to help melt this product on. It's going to give it a really easy application and a little bit more grip. So take it. I like to use my middle finger. Now look in your mirror, slightly stretch your eyelid and just tap it on the base of your lid. Okay, avoid the eyeliner. You don't want to have glittery eyeliner. Sometimes it falls down onto that area, which is not the biggest deal, but try not to start it there. Okay, so try to avoid the eyeliner and just place it on the eyelid itself. Just like that. And the sparkle and the like beautiful candlelit kind of glow this gives, you'll get so many compliments on this eye makeup look, you won't even know what to do with yourself. And it's so easy. It really is so, so easy. Which is why I want to do this video uncut so you can see the exact entire process. Like nothing is cut out. No bits or pieces, whether I want it or not, is cut out. You get to see the entire process of what it takes. So I'm layering a little bit more. And by angling my head up, it gives me a nice flat surface to lay and pat this on the bulk of my eyelid. Now you'll notice it's a little bit in the crease. I think that is a beautiful way to wear this. It doesn't have to be so cookie cutter where it's like just on the eyelid. The crease is here, this is there. You want to have some like soft, you want to have it be a little bit more blown out and a little bit more soft than that. So it's okay to have it like a little bit up because that just looks really soft, really pretty in my opinion. All right, now we need to do a few other things. We need to do some mascara. So grab a mascara. You can either do a waterproof, depending on like if you're a crier, if you're going to be at a wedding and you know you're going to cry, grab the waterproof, trust me. Or if you want something just long wearing that's not going to flake or smudge or run, a tubing mascara is one that's going to come in very, very handy. My new favorite right now that is never failing me in terms of like flaking or smudging is the one from Persona. It's volumizing and tubing. Has a nice curved wand. Now, we actually don't need to curl our lashes unless you have very, very, very straight lashes, okay? So if you have very, very straight lashes that are on a downward angle, then you're going to want to grab your lash curler and curl your lashes. Give it a couple seconds, 10 seconds on each side, and then you could do this next 2 steps, okay? For me, I don't need to when I'm using a more volumizing, more like lifting mascara formula. And I find that when I'm wearing or when I plan on wearing false eyelashes, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult to get your false lashes on if you've curled your lashes too tightly prior, okay? So it's just going to be an easier application if you have lashes like mine that are not downturned. Just skip the lash curl. You don't necessarily need to do it, and it could end up getting in your way a little bit. All right, so just a small coat. Really focusing this mascara too in the inner part of my lash line and my lashes because we're doing a half lash. So the lash is not going to go all the way across. It's only going to be focusing on the outer portion of my lid. I have one little clump. So just focus it really the most where your lashes are not going to have a false strip on them. So think about halfway going in. All right, that's perfect. I see how much lift that gave me too, like quite a bit of lift. All right, now it's time to take a deep breath. I promise you, you got this. Grab your lashes. And you're gonna wanna make sure if you're not using the 421s, but honestly, I highly recommend you pick these up. They're at the drugstore, they're on Amazon. They're super affordable. You can get them at Ulta, you can get them at Walmart, you can get them anywhere, Target, you name it. But make sure you're getting a pair, if it's not these, make sure you're getting a pair that's tapered on each end. So meaning it's the same length on each side. That's how you're gonna get the perfect half lash out of one single strip, okay? Put this on your hand, grab your scissors, and you wanna kind of eyeball it. So it's hard to show you on camera, unfortunately, but eyeball it to the best of your ability. Cut it straight down the center. If it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. No one's gonna be able to tell. Just try to get it as close as down the middle as possible. Grab a really good lash glue. This is one of my favorites. It's the Ardell Strong Hold. Tweezers are going to be your best friend, especially if you have long nails like me. Grab your lash glue, open that bad boy up, grab 1/2 of your lashes and run the glue on each end and going all across. So just run it evenly from one side to the next. So you have a nice even coating of glue, and then I like to go in and put a little bit more on each end of the lash because that's always, typically speaking, if it's going to lift, it's going to lift on the ends. So a little extra glue on each end is going to be, it's going to be like your insurance. So blow on it, get it tacky, get about 50% dry. That way when it hits your lash line, it sticks right away. Don't try to go and apply this when it's soaking wet because it's not going to stick right away and it's going to be really, really frustrating and you're going to end up having just a mess to deal with. So dry it down, get a nice and tacky. Now this is what you want to do. Grab your mirror. You're going to want to go above your lash line. Okay, so go above, looking straight ahead, and then plop it down. Then you're going to want to grab each end of the band and finesse it and attach it, making sure it's nice and secure. So then I'm going to look in my mirror over here. Just make sure it's nice and secure. You can also put down the tweezers. If you have short nails, this is especially going to be easy for you to do. But you can actually grab your lashes and make sure that they're pinched in with the falsie. Just basically squeeze them together. All right, it's locked down. It's a subtle difference, but in pictures and even face to face, they're just gonna look so beautiful. They're gonna be so soft and so flattering, and especially because they're not an entire lash. So if I did an entire lash, like let's say I took this whole strip, it would still be really pretty, but it would close up my eye shape because it's, you know, if you're not tapering it, you're going to lose a lot of this openness right here, and then therefore my eyes are going to look a lot smaller and, you know, dare I say, a little beady. So keeping them tapered to match the eyeliner is going to be just a really beautiful way to wear your false lashes. Okay, same thing, you guys. Grab the glue, little extra on each end. Blow on it, dry it down, say a prayer that it grabs on right away. I keep hitting my lip. I've lost my, like, depth perspective. Not good. All right, same thing. Go above. Plop down. Grab each end. Wiggle it. Make sure it's attached. And what you're looking for is to make sure that there's no separation between your lashes and the lash band of the falsies, okay? If you're not seeing any separation, any gap between, then you know you have them in the perfect spot. Also, you want to make sure that there's no poking, there's no nothing like that. So grab the lash, squeeze them into your lash, pinch them together. And another trick too, as they're fully drying down or as they're in the process of drying down completely, take your fingertip and you want to just lightly bend it up. Let me show you from the side, okay? So take your fingertip and bend it. So what this is doing is it's teaching the lash and your lash as it's drying to dry at an upward angle and not down. So it's giving it a little extra lift. It's also a really great tip if you do have those downturned lashes. It's teaching your lashes to stay up and to dry at an upward angle with the falsie, okay? So it's just softly, don't smash them, just kind of softly bend them up as they're drying. Once that is done, do one more coat of mascara. This is going to be your final insurance to wedge your lashes in with the falsies. So take a really small amount. Don't go wild with it. And I like to really just hit the root to make sure that they're locked in and they're blended perfectly with the falsies. So same thing. I like to avoid the tips of my lashes. I don't want them to look spiky. I want them to look soft and fluttery. So don't think you need to go in there and coat the tips. It's not cute. You can if you really, really want to, but I really don't recommend it. I think that this is the best way to apply mascara on falsies is to avoid the tips of them. Keeps it really soft, really balanced, and really just like fluttery. Okay, now that that's on, we have a couple more things to do. And it's really simple from here on out. All the hard stuff is done. You're in the final, you're in like the, what is it, like the, I don't know. You're in the, whatever it's called, whatever the saying is. You made it to like almost the end, basically. Grab the Angie Hot Flashy A504 or any small brush like this. This is where you want to do some highlighting. I like to dip into both the lightest shades in the Mario palette. And this is where you want to really open up the inner corner of the tear duct. And this is going to bring that perfect amount of balance to this eye makeup look and really give it that finished effect. So if there's ever something missing with your eye makeup look, chances are you haven't done any tear duct highlighting and you probably avoided doing anything on the bottom lash line. I'm going to teach you that too really quick, and it's really, really simple. All right. Tear duct is highlighted. In fact, I need a little bit more actually right here. But we're looking good. We're looking event ready. So now you're going to go back to your tried and true little N12 brush. You're going to dip back into that same first shade that we used a while ago. That same transition shade, and it's okay if there's a little bit of dark shadow left on this one. Just dip into that first shade, and this is what's going to be the finishing step. It's going to connect the eye makeup look, make it look really cohesive, really polished, and really complete. It's also going to be a great way to open up your eyes even more, give them even more of a sultry look. But really, it's like the finishing step. So just gently buffing this all across the bottom lash line, like that. Same brush, we're gonna now switch and dip into this medium to dark brown right here. Take a small amount, and you only wanna do this darker shadow in the outer corner. Okay, so not all the way across, just in this outer corner of the eye. Just completing this makeup look. Perfect. Amazing. Now, if you're really daring, you can do a little bit of bottom mascara. I usually skip bottom mascara, but for a special occasion, I know a lot of people love to wear bottom mascara. So let me teach you just a little simple way of doing a small amount. Wipe off the excess from your wand, okay? And you just want to get the root, and that's it. Just do a small amount. Try not to hit the tips of your lashes because that is the first thing that will run and ruin your makeup look. Just hit the root. Just like that. Now for extra security, okay? Because why not? Why not have a little extra security? Take your Angie brush or whatever small blending brush, take a little bit of loose setting powder, like the Mario one that I was using earlier, and you're gonna run this on the tip of those bottom lashes. This is gonna ensure that if you did put some mascara in that area throughout the day, if you're outside, and let's say it's hot, let's say it's windy, let's say you have allergies like me, like chronic allergies. If you just run a little bit of powder, loose powder, not pressed, on the very tip of those bottom lashes, it's going to ensure that it's not going to transfer throughout the day and you won't get like those little dots, those mascara dots on the bottom lash line, which are really pesky and really annoying and really difficult to deal with. Okay, final thing I want you to do. I want you to go back to your blending brush. I want you to just wipe off the excess product so it's basically clean. It's going to look stained from the leftover shadow, but it's essentially clean of majority of the eyeshadow that was on it when you started out. You're going to take this and you're going to do one final blend. Okay, just one final blend. Don't overthink it. Don't go crazy. Soft pressure and just a soft windshield wiper motion just to ensure that every little edge is nice and seamless and well blended. It may not seem impactful, but trust me, it's like that finishing step that just completes the eye makeup look and makes it look extremely polished. Same thing, eyes open, light pressure, soft back and forth, windshield wiper motions, just ensuring that everything is soft and blended and looks like, basically it's going to look like you paid a professional to do your eye makeup and you can be proud and say that you did it on your own. So this is the eye makeup look for a special occasion. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it so helpful to see the entire process. While I'm yakking to you, I'm going to powder my T-zone a bit because I'm very shiny. But let me know if you try this look out, if you have a special occasion that you're going to attend very soon, if you end up using all these techniques, and if you take pictures, tag me. I would love to see it. But I really hope this helps you to perfect your special occasion eye makeup. So whatever you're doing, try this makeup look. I promise you it's super easy. Anyone can do it and it's gonna look so good on any eye shape or just anyone attending a special occasion. So I hope this video helped you out. And if you wanna see another one of these with a cool tone eye makeup look, leave that in the comments below. And if you wanna see this base, leave that in the comments below. I will link the lip combo that I have on and everything I have on my face. But that's it for now. Thank you for watching this uncut and I'll see you soon. Bye.